Well, with that result, here we are at the blind spot. A cheers to Contact and their thoroughly disappointing performance over the course of Flashpoint.
Yeah, it wasn't good, was it? Not nearly what we were expecting. Moments of sunshine, but wasn't nearly enough.
Yeah, just maybe one half. I would just say the Inferno CT side for them was really nice. Everything else was kind of not
trash.
Not looking too good.
So now with that result, we actually do have our 4 eliminated teams. We know he's going to be making playoffs, but we do not yet know in what order. We'll be talking about that in just a little bit. Contact will join those teams who will no longer be playing here in Flashpoint 1. And that's 3 partner teams that, in fact, did not make it.
Does that mean they're going to get fined? Is that how it works?
Well,
maybe.
If they're not in the top 20, they get fined $100,000 a month. So I would assume.
How much of that money do we get? Because there's going to be a lot of fines out there, and I'm looking to cash in.
Okay, so it would actually encourage you to sabotage the teams, so it would be a conflict of interest.
Shit.
You're doing a good enough job of that on your own, so.
But yeah, that's a pretty important result. And also, congratulations to the Bad News Bears guys who came in here without even having played in Phase 1 and really proved that by beating Chaos and by beating Contact on the second time out. I know we talked to John G, and he was incredibly excited about the opportunity, and he's going to be able to keep playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of showed in the style of play that they had, and we were talking about it during the game, right? They just a lot of follow through on even basic plans, and I just think that's what we're actually missing out of a lot of the really, the potentially better teams in the tournament so far. Yeah, they're just doing it. They're not afraid of anything. I like it. Love it.
All right. Well, we do have our replacements group bracket here to take a look at. That will be Mad Lions going up against the Fun Plus Bears tomorrow for first place. Quite a shocking result given the scramble that it took to get a team into that Fun Plus Phoenix-owned slot right now.
So what you mean is, if Gen G also qualifies to the playoffs, then the playoffs are going to contain lions and tigers and bears.
Yes. I already made
a reference to The Wizard of Oz there, which is a classic Hollywood movie.
I got it. I was just a little bit...
not Rogue One or anything. Quality cinema like you enjoy.
I'm just a little bit upset you didn't complete it and go for the oh my.
I don't want to make it too obvious. I like to be understated. I don't know if you know.
Is that why you explained it right afterwards?
Yeah, when I think about understated, I definitely think about you first and foremost, Thorin. You can't even sell an understated joke. You literally have to ham it up as much as possible.
Captain Subtle.
Captain Obvious.
All right, guys. Any final thoughts about Contact or the Fun Plus Bears?
Yeah, I would just say this. For most of that third map, I actually wanted Contact to make it because I want to see Esperanto go off and Ships and some of these players who look like they're the future of Counter-Strike. But actually, with the way the third map went, I think the right team won. Because actually, if I had to pick a team to make for entertaining playoff matches and actually potentially to have a surprise run, I'd pick Bad News Bears now over Contact. Contact have consistently shown that they never had all those star players come alive at the same time.
They had like the perfect feel for like a career as some of those like cam girl streamers, because they like they kept sort of teasing you just enough that you sort of had like an intro, like, oh,
keep buying in.
Maybe something is going to happen here, but it never really never really actually happened. So that might be.
Wait a minute. What was the sound effect after they keep teasing it? Oh, what was
see, I wouldn't go for the. I wouldn't go necessarily for the cam girls reference. I would go more for the burlesque reference, right? Because it's always like teasing you but trying to hide something.
I'm just not sophisticated enough to really know the difference. I'll be honest. It's just
I thought you meant they were cam girls because all you really wanted to do was see their feet. But in this case, they had feet of Cleanders. They weren't actually capable of. I
don't even know where we're going right now.
Classical into your world. The cam girls, apparently. So.
Excellent.
Well, that was a very interesting comparison. We are going to have an interview. I'm not sure who with.
Any cam girl? No.
Oh,
Dapper.
Hello.
Ask for a cam girl and you shall receive.
How's it going?
Good, man.
How's your cam career going?
Pretty poorly. I'm focusing on CS.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Hey, it looks like you have a lot of supplements to your side.
Yeah.
Any performance enhancing ones that we should know about?
No, just multivitamins and pre-workout.
Likely. That's of course.
Yeah.
That was the right answer.
What was the prep like for you guys? I mean, this was probably a very quick turnaround when you found out you're going to be playing in this second phase of Flashpoint under FPX. Like, what was it a scramble to start preparing for some of these teams, or did you guys feel pretty comfortable right off the bat?
We felt comfortable. I personally like playing EU teams, and then we also had Chaos in the mix that we played a lot against. So we were confident just going into it. We didn't do a lot of prep. It was mostly Peter like doing the anti-stratting and like watching the enemy team demo. But we were scrimming a lot going into it. It wasn't a whole bunch of extra prep that we threw on there. You know, it's a nice surprise.
Did you expect this kind of a finish, this kind of a run through the group?
No, I didn't expect it, but I knew we had the potential to do it, and I'm really happy we showed a good fit.
Right, being as in the contact team, they're supposed to have these like FPL stars, like super mechanical players, Esperanto, ships, etc. People who would be called like the future of Counter-Strike. Did they fail to perform here? Were they overrated? What do you think?
No, I think Esperanto really had a big round, especially on Inferno. He like completely took us out. Same with ships. I think all of them had their own individual play. I think we just slowed down, we like calmed down, and we were able to go slower, and we were prepared to get. And I think we just out-traded in the most of the important.
There are at least a couple of rounds on Inferno where we were seeing sort of individual players from your team. You were one of them over at the B-bomb side on Inferno, where you would sort of sneak in on your own and just what looked like an individual play. How much space is there in the team? How much will Peter allow you to do that kind of thing if you just feel like you have the right moment?
Yeah, we're trying to hone it down more. We actually did it more surprisingly, or like probably surprisingly, but we've been honing it down. He gives me personally and John a lot of freedom to make our own play, as long as we talk and we try to like call rotates and call flash. It's something we've been constantly working on. But yeah, that's personally why I like playing on this team a lot. Pete gives us a lot of individual freedom, and whatever we want to do, like he just lets us, you know.
What do you think you guys are going to work on before playoffs? What kind of holes do you think there are in your team's game?
I think when we lose control of money, we can't really make it back, or like we have a hard time coming back in. Same with on our T sides, when we give the enemy Krieg. I mean, I think everybody will struggle with that. But when we give the enemy Kriegs, we have hard times bouncing back. So we have to focus on that. Just having, you know, more dry runs, doing like very basic stuff. I think we play quick and we're really well like wolf packing, but our slow play needs work and methodical play.
Since you said you like to play European teams, if you get to play one in the playoffs, who would be the one that you'd choose to play? Is there someone you'd like to play that you haven't played?
No, I think I want to play Mad Lions. Surprisingly enough, I think I like the type of style they. I don't want to see if we could beat the best. You know, I think they're like one of the better teams, if not the best in here. If we take them down, we have the confidence in ourselves we could like make the whole run. So.
Well, luckily you're going to be playing them next, so we'll find that out very shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one more question. You're one of the names that I've heard like thrown around along with the likes of guys like Som. I got along with the likes of like guys like Obo that are kind of supposed to be the next wave of like really talented young players out of North America. Do you feel that way at all? Like that you have the potential to be like one of the next big stars to come out of the region? Do you feel any pressure or anything like that to kind of be one of those guys for your team?
I don't feel any pressure personally. I feel like I've always had the potential to do it. I had my own shortcomings and things happen to me, but you know, hopefully we keep doing, and I can make it with this team. We keep doing well, and you know, I can ascend the whole team up. I'm not trying to make it on my own or like just out here to join a better team. I'd rather do it with a team.
Sure you aren't.
I promise.
I don't think he can see you winking. I don't think.
Yeah, it's better if they can't.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Dapper. Congrats on your lower bracket run and your qualification for the Flashpoint 1 playoffs. We'll be seeing you tomorrow for your game against Mad Lions.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Well, we're going to talk about the rest of the day and our overall playoff standings and those implications right after the break. Here is our Humega Lull bracket from earlier today. Cloud9 eliminates Team Envy from Flashpoint 1. They will go on to try and take another first place finish up against Havu, who made it through the winner's bracket. So exciting times for Havu, especially, who has now secured themselves at least two top 2 finishes and a respectable playoff seed. On the other side, Dig Measuring Contest. Dignitas is eliminated by Gen G, losing all 4 maps over 2 series that they played to them. They will ascend to reach MIBR, who is again trying to defend their #1 position from Phase 1.
Maybe it was just called out. Maybe they were in the pool a little bit. The Dig was a bit shriveled up, you know. Listen, it's longer normally. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, if you give them a chance to prepare, actually, no, listen, it's usually pretty.
Just a little cold.
Used to be legendary. I was in the pool. I was at the pool.
They're growers, not showers.
All right. Enough. We got a leaderboard now where we can actually discuss all of our teams. Envy, Gen G is still alive, so they are not going to be down. They haven't gotten their final points yet. We do know definitively Copenhagen Flames, Envy, Contact, and Dig will no longer be playing in Flashpoint. The reason why you don't see teams up there yet is that they still haven't gotten their points from Phase 2, but the rest of our teams are all getting a minimum of 50 points. So that will put them above the 60-point threshold that would be necessary to make the playoffs, given how everything is shaken out. Everyone else, they're going to be playing for seeding and position. Any surprises?
Can we see the list again?
Can we see the list again?
FPX is a pretty big surprise.
Obvious.
I mean, August and Chaos are the 2 obvious ones.
Yeah.
Like, these are people where, I mean, Chaos didn't even qualify for the tournament. August is a team where they don't have an organization. Like, you know, on paper, these teams aren't supposed to make
Cloud9's a pretty big surprise.
partners.
All right, so coming in, Orglis, Chaos, Havu, and Copenhagen Flames were the teams that we brought in from the qualifier. They are not partner teams. And of those, Copenhagen Flames is the only team not to actually make the playoffs. What do you think the partner teams need to do? Is it worth recruiting from some of these other rosters? If you're Fun Plus Phoenix and you literally don't have a signed roster right now, are you thinking about maybe picking up some pieces here and there from these qualified teams or a team in their entirety?
Well, there's an obvious suggestion, which is bring an actual real 5-man lineup. Crazy idea, I know. But I tend to find when you just let Bill from around the corner play, you're not as good.
Well, while that is true, what about the teams that we have available? Is there a way to make a strong roster from some of these components? Or do you actually go so far as Maui Snake and believe that Orglis can be elite?
There's definitely a lineup to be made from this hodgepodge of NA players on Chaos, Orglis, and Bad News Bears. If you really were serious as a partner organization, you could try to put together the best squad, just picking and choosing from that. I don't know, Steel from Chaos, Orglis has seen flashes from a few of their players, Wardell, for example, Bad News Bears get Dapper, and then you just kind of mix and match the final 2. You could put together a really strong lineup with that.
That'd be the first thing I would do, is go to Steel. Get Steel from Chaos and just say,
100%.
build me a team. Like, well, you know, we'll look over all the options. Everything's open. Everything's available. Let's at least have the chat and let's see what kind of a roster we can build together. And you get to be on the ground floor and do all the recommending, all the hand picking, and just build yourself the team that you want to play in the next season for.
I'll echo what Maui Snake said. Like, players like Wardell, Dapper, like, bearing in mind, these aren't on the partner teams. These seem like obvious pickups to some of the squads, especially the NA ones. Like, you'll just upgrade some of your positions, and at that point, even teams that are actually currently at the top of the standings, like a Cloud9, could get even better, I think, if they got one of these players.
I think the biggest bummer is the fact that since the major got pushed back, like after the major is normally when you see a lot of discontent among teams, a lot of players wanting to like jump ship or go somewhere else or try a new opportunity. So, I mean, the nice thing is you have a lot of time, right? You can just be patient and see what becomes available, but it is nice to have that major as the usual point where contracts are, you know, willing to be explored and willing to be traded, but you still just bide and choose your moment.
Well, and here's the other question is, how much should some of these partner teams, because Contact says that they think they're a LAN team, not an online team, how much should partner teams be reading into these results right now to make roster changes? Is that rational?
No.
Got it.
I will say I don't think that Contact would have lost to Bad News Bears if it was a LAN game. Like, I think that actually, not necessarily on the Contact side as much, I don't know how they would have performed, but I don't think Bad News Bears would have been as good if it had been in person, on LAN, like not as experienced, etc. So certain teams could maybe make the excuse, but if you look at how many matches we played, the ones that didn't make the playoffs, I don't think have an actual excuse, as in a leg to stand on.
I also think it's tough for Contact to say that they're a LAN team when, I mean, they haven't even like played a LAN game as this roster. So I don't think
Why it's so genius, though. You can't really be proven wrong.
That's fair point.
What a clever play.
He's got a point there.
I'll say in terms of switching players around, or buying a whole lineup, I don't mind switching players, but I feel like in Counter-Strike we've been through this a lot, where teams or organizations try and get just one player. So they find someone who they say, well, this guy's the problem, and we'll buy someone who's theoretically better. And I feel like whenever there's just one person coming into a lineup, it's just not going to work out well. I prefer, if you're going to make those changes, to find like a couple of players to put in. Two people that work well on another team. You bring them to your team, they can continue to work well, and they just don't get pushed in one at a time. Because I feel like we have a long track record now of that not working. Single player swap.
I think that is dependent on. I agree with you, but I think it's dependent on the team, because once you start changing, like bringing two players in, that's like a culture shift as well. If you're just bringing one player in, he's coming to an established culture within the team, and he's fitting a role, right?
But I almost would want the culture change.
Yeah, well, some teams need the culture change, right?
Yeah, or most teams.
What you're saying is they should engage in cultural appropriation.
That would be my recommendation.
Why is it always cultural appropriation with you, Anders? Let other cultures have some things.
Listen, we're sharing.
response.
Call it sharing instead. It's better.
Appreciation.
Pivot
Yeah.
out of the subject.
Pivot the conversation.
Quickly.
All right. Well, I can pivot it to something that might also get us in trouble, which is our Flashpoint drunk tweets for the day.
Drug or drunk?
Drunk. I mean,
Okay.
Drugged out.
I heard drug.
We'll see. We'll find out.
All right. Let's get into them. There you go, Maui Snake.
Yeah, so this is a live picture of me. I know Monty took a video of me the other time when I was hyping Orglis up, but he took another picture of me when I was getting pretty hyped up for Floppy, one of my favorite players.
You
in the
were.
league.
You do get worked up back here.
Yeah.
Great
So,
meme usage there, the SpongeBob.
yeah, so this is just me watching Floppy hold that inner bomb site on Train. He don't miss.
Weird. All of a sudden, Maui Snake's DMs are full of betting companies asking him to come and work on their social media because he's successfully taken a whack, like fucking meme there. He's done a sort of vaguely related CS tweet around it. You got a career ahead of you, mate.
It didn't steal it from Reddit, though. That's the big.
Yeah, the problem is it was too original. Exactly. How can we know it's good if everyone on Reddit hasn't upvoted it?
All right.
Maui, can you do like a list of all the players that you're supporting these days? Because you've got some interesting picks on your.
All right. So we got Floppy, we got Infinite,
Okay.
we got Yay.
Don't forget Moose.
For Bad News Bears. Oh yeah, we got
I think
Moose.
he gave up on Moose.
Moose, I gave up halfway through
he
that
disowned
game.
Moose.
Yeah, through that BO3, I gave up halfway. I'm sorry, Moose. You'll come back next time when it's not online and when you're here and not.
He's a
having
LAN
100
player,
ping.
is
Yeah,
what
he's a
you're
LAN
saying.
player. He's
The
for sure a
list
LAN
I
player.
want to see is Potter's list because she's operating some sort of
That would
halfway
not
house
end-
for like
that would
people
be-
who are about to be like retired or something. Like I still believe in them actually. I think they could come back maybe.
She does have a sense for the nostalgia. All right, next drunk tweet. Let's keep going here. There you go, Thorin. Diggs
Like that.
ownership reviewing their performance of their LoL and CSGO teams.
People who don't know, in LCS they also spent a lot of money and didn't even make the playoffs. So
And are now shopping their players on the
I
open
can
market.
imagine they are literally just through tears going like, good job guys, get them next time. Do I have to start to pay you $7 million? Yeah, shit, yeah, okay, I will, right.
All right. What do we have
I think they
next?
need a bailout from the government at this point in time, this dig actually.
All right, we'll get there. We'll get
So
there
good we
eventually.
showed it twice.
Yeah, so good.
You went for a cat picture as well. Like you're just farming social media. Like Jesus.
We've got another one coming up eventually. Oh, another one from Thorin. Contact was a movie about the search for intelligent life. The CSGO team have proven less success.
It's just shameless.
Best thing is, I actually tweeted that one while the game was live, so they could have made me look completely stupid and like qualified for the playoffs. One Flashpoint or something, which would have been about on point for, it's on brand at least, wouldn't it?
All right, mine's up next. We'd like to welcome all relevant Flashpoint partner ownership groups to the blind spot to mourn their team's failure to make the playoffs. I did have more to that, saying that FTX isn't welcome because they were already drunk when they made their roster decisions. But yes, I mean, this is something that a lot of the ownership groups are going to be seriously looking at, because this is, when you have 2/3 of the league that is actually bought in. You don't expect 3/4 of the non-qualifying playoff spots to go to you guys, right?
Was that like Scott Steiner math there? I was getting really lost in like all the percentages. Like, so at the end,
I was following.
are there a fifth of them good, Monty? I can't quite tell. Like, where's this go?
I mean, you guys tell me how good who is actually good.
The real problem is some of the teams that the non-partner teams have replaced, it's more like the partner team was bad. Like I'll give credit to the Orglusses of the world and Chaos. Obviously, they're working with like limited rosters. That's cool. But if some of those other teams, like the Contacts of the world, had turned up as they look like they should on paper, they would have been through easily. So I put more of the blame on them. They didn't have the real lineup. It's also not on land. Yeah, Kusta's wrecking. It's obviously a very different tournament than
Yeah.
sound like Anders right before the cam girl asks for more money. Yeah. Oh, he's like, ooh. Goes,
All right, guys, it's been a long day. Thanks for joining us at the blind spot today. I think we've had enough. We got another 3 best of 3s tomorrow. We'll see you then.